Okay, so you guys are all watching? Everyone who wants
Yep.
to see? Cool.
You.
Okay, so the fastest way to level up your armoring, if you're starting at level 0, well, I mean, if you're starting at level 0, you might as well go for the linen gloves. Always use shade cloth instead of linen. The reason you do that is because shade cloth is a fraction of the price. We can double check it if you would like to see. Unless a bunch of people recently saw this. Okay, so it's 0.05 to 0.15, right?
And linen.
And then
So,
linen is 0.51. They do the exact same thing, but it is literally 1/5 the cost. There's no point in using linen when you can have shade cloth.
oh,
If you don't know how to set up a buy order, this is how I got multiple thousands along with eating luck food while I was farming my own fiber because I self-farmed a lot of my materials. Place buy order, and then you'll see what everyone is buying them at. You can do the same price, or you can go a little bit higher, set up your buy order. It's still way the fuck cheaper than buying linen. I recommend setting it up for like 3 days if you're just going to do a short buy order. Reason is that prices fluctuate a lot, and sometimes you forget that you have a few hundred gold invested in something that you don't need anymore. So I don't like doing 7 or 14. I like 1 and 3, and I just replace buy orders. So shade cloth is the first item that you will be using, and then Fey iron. Fey iron is 0.42. Iron ingot is 0.54. So your Fey iron is going to be still about 10 cents cheaper, which adds up a shit ton over time. If you place a buy order, it's going to be even cheaper than that. You could probably go 0.25 and you would be halving your cost of iron when you craft. So now we have 1/5 the cost of our linen, we have half the cost of our iron, and we're going to farm up some silky boys. I self farm all of my silk and my leather. I don't think there's a point in buying fibers, silk threads, rawhide, or thick hide. You can buy the top tier stuff considering it takes a while to farm and it's highly contested. So yeah, so the way you level up is basically your first few levels until you unlock your Amrine gear. So until level 60. Your first 60 levels, you'll be either making these linen shirts if you want to, just kind of get it out of the way. It's a tiny, tiny bit less gold efficient than linen gloves, but really, it's less salvaging. So I like shirts. I think shirts are the best one to go. It is not the perfectly most gold efficient, but I think it's the most click efficient. And then from 50 to 60, you can just make a few satin gloves and you're chilling. And then once you hit your 60, you go to your Amrine gear. So we can actually close this whole armor tab now. We don't need it. And then we're going to go to Amrine gear. You can set up a buy order for coagulated blood. I can show you how to do that in a second. But it'll just be your satin, your tier 1 leather. I don't have tier 1 leather, but it would be coarse leather and iron ingots. So you would do this. Alternatively, you can set up a buy order for phase fiber. I think it's still cheaper than satin, but it's harder to farm and it's less supply. So over the long span, it's going to be really hard to get enough phase fiber. So you might as well just use satin, coarse leather, iron, and coagulated blood. So I'll show you how to set up the coagulated blood and the sticky vines thing. But we're basically going to be doing just this style all the way to the end. So you're going to go to the expedition armors and you're going to be making the shirts. So there's the leather coat, which uses rugged leather. Where's our? So this is what it would look like if you're doing the leather. You're using your shade cloth, your Fey iron, coagulated blood. The reason you never ever ever make gloves is because all of these dungeon drops are usually between like 1 and 2 gold a piece, and it costs 10 no matter which you do. So if you compare the XP, you're spending 10 more gold on something which adds up after you're making so many. So 10 more gold per craft, and this is 850. This is 2,000. So it's over double the XP you're getting. You are using more materials, but you're using less coagulated blood. So overall, I think this is by far the most efficient. Then once you get to 100, you'll use these. It's Talesman's. I actually never used these. I went straight all the way with the Amrine because I got them for like zero point 0.1 gold a piece. The coagulated blood. I got coagulated blood super cheap. I had like maybe 10,000 of it, so I got to 150 with it. Anyway, so you can, if you want to, do the silk right here with Corrupted Talesman. It'll be the exact same way of setting it up, but I don't have any of these to set up a buy order. Of course, you can use the Jade Collars, which are a little bit easier to find. So this is the Dynasty gear starting at 110. So you just go from your Amrine gear to here is basically what I did, and then I used the Jade Collars. And then this is the big boy. This is when the big boys come in. Your Lazarus gear. So it's either going to be Spectral Dust or Sticky Vines. I chose Sticky Vines just because I had Sticky Vine, so I could set up a buy order. You cannot search for dungeon drops in the market, so you need to have at least one in your inventory. If you need one, let somebody know so we can give you one and you can set up a buy order. So again, one more time.
I need one of each. The sticky vines and the spectral dust.
Awesome.
Just
Perfect.
to set up the buy order, then I can give it back.
Awesome. Yeah, so then again, you're just doing the same thing. I think leather's easier to farm than fibers, but like I said, most of the spots that you go to farm leather, there is also fiber. And where you farm thick hide, there's also silk. So you can kind of just swap back and forth and use leather as your primary, but still use silk. And it's really, really, really gold efficient. Okay, so that is basically the way you level up your armoring. You just spam craft these. If you look at this, though, look at that fucking XP. You're getting 22,680 XP per craft. If you look at the alternative of using normal 150 armor, so 150 armor, chest plate, 17,000. You're getting about 10,000 more XP for 10 gold extra. For 10 gold, you're getting 10,000 XP. So, like, there's really no point in not doing this method. And in setting up the buy orders, I'll show you real quick. So you cannot search it, like I said. If you look for Sticky Vine, it doesn't even pop up. If you look for coagulated blood, doesn't even pop up. So you have to go to sell. I mean, I just sort to find it easier. So you go to sell. I sort by own so I can find it. Sticky Vines, let's say you just have one, then it would be down here, of course. So you do this for all of the dungeon drops. And then instead of place sell order, you would place a buy order. And it looks like people are starting to figure this shit out because it's shooting up. They were about 1 gold when I bought it. 150 is still way, way, way cheaper. It'll cost 15 gold extra per craft for 10,000 XP. Yeah, so that's the big... Oh, it looks like this guy did it. This guy probably set up a huge buy order and then is relisting a lot of them. Anyway, so that's the Sticky Vines. Let's see if I can find Spectral Dust. I don't know how much I had of that. Order for Spectral Dust. Okay, Spectral Dust is going to be the cheaper option for sure. I don't have everything. I do have coagulated blood, I think. And we can see what that costs real quick. I thought I had like more than 10. There it is. So coagulated blood right now, 0.02 buy orders. So coagulated blood, I would use this from 60 to 160 if you're okay with the low tier mats. Just because this is so much cheaper and easier to get. I mean, there's a lot of them for sale. Anyway, so that's the armoring tips.
How many